Hi, I'm Paul Vandevert. The USMCA is finally here. It goes live on July 1. So the American Chamber in Mexico has asked me to talk about the new rules of origin for the automotive sector. Now, ever since the agreement was finalized, all I've really heard from the industry, lawyers, consultants, service providers, is how much harder it will be to qualify automotive products for USMCA, how complicated the rules are, and all about the increased cost. But I've been studying the rules myself pretty closely, and I've found that the USMCA made some really big changes and added some new origin rules that I think require a whole new approach to the qualification process. The qualification process must begin at home. Producers must determine how much originating content they generate from their own production before they issue a single supplier solicitation. But don't be scared. The origin rules that I mentioned, they'll not only help producers with this internal content calculation, but they will actually generate more originating content than was ever before possible in NAFTA. I have two examples.
First rule I want to talk about is roll-up. Let's say you make seats. You import coils of non-originating steel from Korea. You then stamp that steel into braces, wires, and supports, and then weld all of those metal parts into a seat frame. The seat frame goes into a complete seat. Under the roll-up rule, the non-originating value of the steel is rolled up into the originating value of the seat as the steel was transformed into the seat. The second rule is intermediate materials. I'm really excited about this rule because I think it could be a gold mine for finding originating content that is self-generated by the producers themselves. Intermediate materials are parts and assemblies that are made in the same plants as the finished products. Going back to the seat maker, the seat frame and the actuator, which moves the seat up and down, are good examples of intermediate materials. Another way to understand intermediate materials is to think of parts and assemblies that you make in-house, such as the seat frame or the actuator, that you could purchase from a third-party supplier. The best part of the intermediate materials rules is how the value is calculated. The value of an intermediate material is all production costs, including general expenses, plus profit. And the auto-specific rules of the USMCA don't change this calculation. Let's look at the cost for a seat frame. On the left, you see the value of the intermediate materials rules. On the right, you see the frame's value under net cost, which is how most products were valued under NAFTA. Look at the difference. Under intermediate materials, you would get nearly 20% more originating value than you would from net cost. The result is similar for the actuator. I hope you're beginning to see how the new T-MEC origin rules are a potential gold mine of originating content that you will find in your own plant. Here are the steps every producer should take in this new approach to qualifying automotive products for T-MEC preference. Walk the factory floor. Find out what's being made under your own roof. Pull out and analyze your costed, exploded bill of material. It shows all levels of production. Each level of production, each distinct part or assembly is a candidate for roll-up and/or intermediate materials. Then calculate how much originating content is self-generated. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be pleasantly surprised how much content you find all before you've solicited a single supplier.
As we reemerge from the COVID-19 lockdowns, we're going to encounter a new normal. Many of the ways that we used to work will change. The same is true for USMCA. What used to work for NAFTA is not going to work for the USMCA. But the good news is that by adopting the new approach to the qualification process and employing the full set of origin rules, you're going to find that the qualification process for USMCA in the automotive sector is easier, simpler, and cheaper than it ever was under NAFTA.